Всем привет, это Вильям Плея, и я до сих пор не знаю, кто убил Елену Алкионскую, но у меня есть возможность сохраниться и обвинить всех по очереди. Вот, потому что довольно сложно как-то оказалось. Я помню, было расследование в Пентхаус. Я помню, было расследование в Нью-Вегасе, ну, было, конечно, уже 10 лет прошло. Вот, где, в принципе, там были подсказки, по которым можно было догадаться. А здесь что-то вообще никак не догадаться. Слишком много, наверное, наоборот, подсказок. Ладно, давайте сохранимся вот в этом месте. И попробуем сказать, что мы знаем, кто убил Елену Алкионскую.
I've been waiting for this. Tell me, Inspector, who killed Halcyon Helen?
Какие у нас есть варианты? Берти Холком, Жасмин Лейва, Седри Кинканон, Спенсер Вулрич и вы. Давайте попробуем Спенсера Вулрича обвинить.
Really? Spencer Woolrich killed Halcyon Helen? As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, that sounds like the highlight of his career. What makes you think it was Spencer?
Ну, потому что я видел пистолет. А, нет, я Седрика хотел, а не Спенсера. Тьфу, блин. Ну, он пытался... Всю свою жизнь он был главным соперником Елены.
Yes, a jealous artist murders his popular rival. It's just like Salieri and Mozart. I think this could work. Walk me through your reasoning. What happened on the night of the murder?
Вулрич выдымал свое алиби, больной живот в ночь убийства.
Mr. Woolrich was always prissy about his constitution. I remember him complaining about his stomach on the night of the murder, but I just assumed he wanted attention. All right, Woolrich clearly had a plan to kill Helen. He had motive and he had intent. What happened in the ballroom?
Он оглушил ее, а потом приказал Бербаджу ее застрелить.
Board law clearly states that automechanicals are incapable of acting on their own volition. I'll make a note that Burbage 3001 was used as a murder weapon. It's clear to me that Spencer Woolrich murdered Halcyon Helen. I appreciate your help, Inspector.
Но вы ведь не получили никаких прямых доказательств, только косвенные.
You've given me enough to clear this institution's name in the eyes of the colony. That's all I ever asked of you. We're done here. Spencer Woolrich killed Halcyon Helen. If he thinks Aetherwave critics are harsh, he hasn't seen the Labyrinth's inmates. Wait, don't move a muscle. Someone's just tripped my alarm. And my security defenses. And killed my patrols. The distillery is under attack. Someone's after me, Inspector. I need you over here right now.
Скоро буду.
Now, Inspector. Damn it, someone's interfering with my transmission. Can you read the...
Так. Нет, я хочу загрузить игру предыдущую, которую сохраняю вручную. Да. И я все-таки обвиню Седрика.
Inspector.
Седрик Кинканон.
Oh, thank you, merciful architect. You're saying Cedric Kincannon killed Halcyon Helen. What makes you so sure?
Так. Я нашел доказательства того, что Елена обворовывала слиз. Думаю, Седрику это было известно.
Cedric doesn't tolerate theft. His greatest fear is watching UDL guards march into his territory and take everything away from him. I know Cedric. If Helen stole from him, he'd never let her live. He'd make an example out of her.
Да, вот Только сделав ее смерть примером для других, он признался бы в убийстве. Затем он замел следы и начал подначивать меня, чтобы я вывел его на чистую воду.
You're beginning to understand Cedric as well as I do. You realize what's happening here. Cedric doesn't believe you can demonstrate his guilt. He's been goading you. But you're going to prove him wrong.
Так. В момент смерти Елены он был занят. Думаю, он приказал прикончить ее.
An interesting point, Inspector. If that were the case, the murderer wouldn't be Cedric, but the individual he ordered to kill Helen. However, because Cedric insists on running Slug like a legitimate company, any Slug operative is by definition company property. I'm getting ahead of myself. You say Cedric ordered her killed. Tell me how it happened.
Так. Я нашел орудие убийства. Это плазменная винтовка. Седрик ее у всех на виду хранил.
Well done, Inspector. I knew Cedric could never resist the chance to show off the weapon that killed Halcyon Helen. It's clear to me that Cedric Kincannon murdered Halcyon Helen. I'll have him reported to UDL within the hour.
Но вы ведь не получили никаких прямых доказательств, только косвенные.
You've given me enough to clear this institution's name in the eyes of the colony. That's all I ever asked of you. We're finished here. Eridanos will return to its rightful owner, and Cedric Kincannon will spend the rest of his days rotting in Tartarus. Wait, don't move a muscle. Someone's just tripped my alarm. And my security defenses. And killed my patrols. The distillery is under attack. Someone's after me, Inspector. I need you over here right now.
Скоро буду.
Now, Inspector. Damn it. Someone's interfering with my transmission. Can you read the...
Ладно. Ну, что здесь нужно сказать? Нужно сказать, что, судя по всему... О, викария мы еще не прокачали. Вот мы его с собой возьмем. Что у него есть крутое? Даже не знаю, что у него есть крутое. Пусть игнорирует броню. Так.
What floor would you like to visit?
Покинуть. Гранд Колониаль. С Феликсом и Викарием. Так, что нужно сказать? Что, наверное, сейчас будет все установлено, потому что сейчас мы выясним, того я обвинил в убийстве или не того. Возможно, вообще абсолютно не тот персонаж, даже близко. И в убийстве виновен кто-то, на кого мы даже и не думали, потому что, как можно понять из вот этих всех... Что они постоянно там бродят? Можно понять из всех этих диалогов, что... Каждого можно обвинить по каким-то косвенным уликам, но у каждого при этом, ну, не все так гладко. Не с каждым персонажем, которого мы пытаемся обвинить. По этой причине я думаю, что... Сейчас посмотрим. Сейчас будет какой-то такой этакий решающий, так сказать, момент. Момент истины. Только надо бежать, потому что никаких точек быстрого перемещения мы тут не открыли. Хотя и пытались. Прикольно. Этот гатлинг хорош тем, что у него хорошая скорострельность. Здесь, конечно, без вопросов. Spectrum Distillery Enter Here. А мне куда-то в другое место показывает тревога. Какой ужас. Какой ужас. Так. И где у нас тревога, значит? Он с той стороны. А, вот сюда надо зайти. Станция дистилляции Рицу. Сейчас только оружие чуть-чуть починю. Вот, и сейчас поедем. Так, ну полетели. Станция дистилляции Рицу. Узнаем, что там был за замес. Или он есть до сих пор. Такс. Это что, Елена Алкионская? Черт возьми.
What in law's name? Halcyon Helen, how are you still alive?
Oh, is that Ludovico I hear? Perfect. I'm so glad he's still in the building. Would you mind letting him know I'm about to blow his whole operation to flinders?
Офигеть. Это справедливый вопрос. Не объясните, как вы все еще живы?
Brace yourself, Inspector. You're about to learn the biggest secret in the Vaporwave industry. Halcyon Helen was never one person. I shared this role with my twin sister, Belinda.
Are you serious? Halcyon Helen's got a twin sister? I mean, yeah, it's obvious. You know, if you think about it.
Two people inhabiting the same life. Existentially challenging, philosophically speaking. My condolences. Must feel like you literally lost part of yourself.
Belinda and I were the best kept secret in the business. Nobody could tell us apart. And certainly not a peevish, petty, miserable little worm like Quentin Ludovico. So when I discovered the truth, when I realized what Ludovico was about to unleash on this colony, Belinda paid the price.
О чем вы говорите?
My plan to save Halcyon. I'm not a murderer, Inspector. I acted in defense. I had to defend Halcyon's future.
Tell the truth, Ludovico. There's nothing safe about Spectrum Brown. You want to infest this entire colony with those disgusting parasites.
They're not parasites. These creatures are symbiotic life forms. They belong to the highest order of life form, capable of living in perfect harmony with humanity. The symbiotes evoke a feeling of joy in their host, a bliss so pure, so profound as to render the most exquisite recreational substance obsolete. Oh, don't you see, Inspector? I want to bring joy back to Halcyon. I want this colony to smile again.
Они не симбионты, я видел, как себя ведут зараженные.
A host only turns violent if they're carrying too many symbiotes, or if they see you as a threat. In its natural state, the relationship between symbiote and host is perfectly harmless. Listen to me. I never wanted to take a life, but I had no choice. I couldn't let anyone destroy this colony's only chance at real happiness. But what about Helen? What about all the innocent people she's killed?
No one I crossed off was innocent.
Так, в лаборатории были вы. Вы убили доктора Блоссом.
Have you met Dr. Blossom? She was practically a reptile. A cold-blooded psychopath who toyed with human lives in the name of scientific advancement. Leora Blossom wasn't a person. She was a weapon in Ludovico's arsenal. You call it murder? I call it disarming my enemy.
Я знаю, что вы убили талисмана рейнджеров.
The mascot was a spy working for Ludovico. He was ordered to keep an eye on Belinda and I, and report back to his master.
You're being paranoid. I barely knew the fellow.
Don't try to deny it. Anywhere Belinda and I went, that mascot was there, just watching us with those cold, dead eyes.
Так сколько же человек вы убили, Елена?
Ludovico murdered my sister, Inspector. He killed Belinda with his own hands. Dr. Leora Blossom, Maria Keene, that flackwit of a mascot, they were standing between me and Ludovico, so I did what I had to do. I went through them.
Вы убили констебля Кин? Она была на вашей стороне.
She was on Ludovico's side. When she realized I was alive, she refused to stay silent. I gave Maria a chance. I told her about Belinda. I asked for her help, but she turned me down. She was honor-bound to report me to Ludovico. Maria had a duty to her company, and I had a duty to Belinda. We both did what we had to. But in the end, I was the faster shot.
Так, все понятно.
You know what you need to do. Help me avenge Belinda. Help me put a stop to this.
Don't listen to her. Listen to me. Throw in with Helen and you destroy Halcyon's only chance at real happiness. Think of the future, Inspector. A lifetime of bliss and joy for every colonist in Halcyon. We can make that happen.
Елена, конечно, с ума сошла. Но заражать всю колонию симбиотами я точно не позволю. Поэтому я выберу третий вариант. Я помогу вам, Елена, но когда мы отсюда выберемся, вы мне все расскажете.
It's a deal.
A far better choice than Ludovico, though Ms. Bellamy does seem a bit obsessed. But then again, some of us may have had a few issues with that ourselves.
We don't have a lot of time. We need to get out of here.
Not so fast. I've sealed the bulkhead doors. You're staying right where you are. I'm sorry to do this to you, Inspector. Truly I am. If it's any consolation, Helen has brought some remarkably powerful explosives. Your death should be instantaneous. Goodbye, Inspector. Helen, we won't meet again.
Damn it. He sealed us in, but I think I know another way out. Follow me and stay close.
Ну, погнали. Так, а куда идти? Сюда. Мы же особо не торопимся, можно тут все обыскать, да? Ну, музыка, конечно, как в том сериале. У меня еще очень много вопросов остается. Много что не прояснено. Например, она сказала, что талисман следил за ними обеими. Ой, меня обожгло, что ли. Но мы сейчас понимаем, что... Открывай давай. Но мы сейчас понимаем, что он же не знал о второй женщине. А вот и администратор бежит. Переключатель внизу. А где переключатель внизу? Ага, вижу. Так что у нее тоже своего рода паранойя. Будет прикольно потом попробовать пройти другую версию на стороне администратора. Какой у вас план?
This entire complex has been exposed to those parasites. Law only knows how many they've infected. Most of them won't even know they're carrying a parasite inside of them. If they're showing symptoms, it's probably already too late. Boundless energy, insufferable joy, an almost saccharine attitude of optimism. Then just like that, parasites bursting out of their bodies, fat and wriggling with vital energy.
Наука. Должен быть какой-то пестицид, безвредный для людей, смертельный для паразитов.
You're a step ahead of me, Inspector. An airborne pesticide of some kind. I think you may be onto something. Let's meet back at your penthouse. We'll ready our next move.
У меня остались еще вопросы.
Not here. In private, back at the penthouse. Also, I rather like the ambiance there. See you soon, Inspector.
Прикольно. Ну, погнали на Эридан наверх. Интересно, конечно. Откуда мы выбрались? А, вот отсюда. Можем туда перенестись быстрым путешествием? Пентхаус. Да, можем. Погнали. Интересно. Центрифуга. Это центрифуга, украденная из лаборатории Никр Рицо. Осмотреть центрифугу. Видите на боку устройства маленькую наклейку. Надпись на наклейке гласит: центрифуга лаборатории Рицо. Опыт работы не требуется. Оборудование лаборатории Рицо предназначено для использования неквалифицированным персоналом. Вложите внутренние ингредиенты, нажмите на кнопку и наблюдайте. Ловкость, проницательность. Оторвать наклейку. Под наклейкой увидите еще одну поменьше. Здесь написано: модель снята с производства, запатентованная технология, просто космос. Фигня какая-то. Ага. Так, где она? Вот она. Ну, признавайся.
It's strange. When you walk through that door, I half expected to see Belinda. Belinda and I practically shared a life. Losing her feels like losing a limb. She's conspicuous by her absence.
Соболезную, нелегко вам, наверное.
I appreciate the sympathy, Inspector. Thank you. I'll appreciate your help even more. We shut down Ludovico's distillation plant, but he's not gonna sit idly by. If he can't use Spectrum Brown to infect the colony, he'll resort to some kind of backup plan. I stole this formula from Dr. Blossom, a failed prototype of Spectrum Brown. Look at this. The prototype had the opposite effect, and actually made you immune to the parasites.
Проницательность, прочитать формулу. А еще вызывал легкую депрессию вместо эмоционального подъема.
This is Halcyon. Everyone's already miserable. A little more despair isn't gonna make a difference. We're going to need 2 ingredients. A sample of essence of sprat, and 1 intact pod of parasite eggs. Cedric's warehouse in the Perea spaceport almost certainly carries a batch of sprat essence. As for the pod, I'd check the Wilderness Reserve if I were you.
Наука. А, вы про шпрессивный нуклеин, его часто используют в медицинских экспериментах.
I'm glad one of us is an expert. Most of what I know is based on Dr. Blossom's notes. Here's what I understand. Sprats have an adaptive immune system. They don't suffer from the diseases and parasites they carry. It's one reason why you'll see them in every corner of the colony. Dr. Blossom experimented with sprats and accidentally discovered a way to become immune to the parasites. That's probably when she decided to switch to human testing.
Думаю, я смогу синтезировать эффективный антипаразитный препарат.
You're a scientist and an inspector? You really are full of surprises. I borrowed a centrifuge from the research lab. Used the ingredients to synthesize an antiparasitic.
Легко.
I'm glad I could count on your expertise. Once you're finished, head to the pilot house. We'll hijack the control system and disperse the cure into the atmosphere. That should kill off most of the parasites.
Убеждение. Не так быстро мне нужен, да, не нужен мне ее игольщик. Седрик захочет поквитаться с Людовико. Я могу заручиться его помощью.
I like the way you think, Inspector. We could use another ally. I know Cedric. There's nothing he wants more than a chance to eliminate Ludovico. We could use him on our side. Best of luck, Inspector. I'm counting on you.
Я хотел спросить про Белинду.
I'm not accustomed to talking about Belinda, but I'm also not accustomed to the kind of sympathy you showed me earlier. So I'll make an exception for you. Belinda and I shared the role of Helen, but she was also the only person who knew the real me. To the rest of the colony, I'm Halcyon Helen, but to my sister, I was just Ruth. I could be myself around Belinda, and she could be herself around me. She was my only sister, but she was also my only friend.
Люди знают, что вы Рут Беллами. Наверное, Белинде было тяжело держать свое существование в секрете.
No. Belinda enjoyed the secrecy. She could slip into the role of Halcyon Helen, attend social events on my behalf, perform a few stunts, deliver a few lines. And then, when she grew tired of all the people and all the attention, all she had to do was slip out of the role and be my sister again. She was the secret twin. She had a comfortable life in the shadows, an easier life. I made sure of that.
Это все, что я хотел узнать.
I'm glad I could satisfy your curiosity.
Я хочу услышать историю целиком. Расскажите мне, что произошло. Это вот то, что мне больше всего сейчас надо.
It's a long story, Inspector.
А я никуда не спешу.
It was supposed to be just another marketing job. Rizzo's wanted Halcyon Helen to be the face of Spectrum Brown. Some hideous concoction served with a dead parasite. All we had to do was spend a few weeks on Eridanos, shake some hands, sign a few autographs, drink a bottle of Spectrum Brown in front of a camera, and try to smile. Belinda didn't want to go. But I wanted a change of scenery. In any case, we couldn't possibly say no.
Почему Белинда не хотела лететь?
Belinda always hated endorsement deals. They felt cheap to her, inauthentic. She always believed her first priority was to our fans, and not the company that bought us out.
Что произошло, когда вы прилетели на Эридан?
Belinda and I arrived on Eridanos and played our usual game of trading places. We were practically flawless. Even Ludovico didn't know about us. Belinda was unhappy for the first few days, but then she met Bertie Holcomb. Bertie treated her like a human being and not just an Aetherwave icon. They were just about perfect.
Только у него были проблемы с самокопанием. Я видел место пикника.
Bertie has a dreadful temper. I was worried about Belinda for a while, but she told me he'd never lay a finger on her, and I took her at her word. Bertie wasn't the person I should have kept an eye on. It was Ludovico. I had a feeling Ludovico was hiding something. Belinda stayed busy socializing with the celebrities around the complex. That gave me some time to do a little digging.
Я слышал, что вы настояли на визите в лабораторию.
I saw everything. The test subjects, the parasites. Spectrum Brown was never safe to drink. Those harmless, dead parasites at the bottom of every bottle. They were just dormant. They would have sold out in a month. This colony loves novelty. They'll eat up any new product we toss their way. A new cereal, a new Spectrum flavor. Ludovico knows that. From Emerald Vale to Byzantium. A parasite in every brain and a grin on every face. Every last one of us trapped behind a mask of joy. That's what Ludovico wants.
Людовико понял, что вы задумали. Он решил, что вы хотите раскрыть его планы.
I was careless. I was risking Belinda's life every step of the way, and I never even realized.
Не вините себя.
I wish it were that easy. Still, thank you. Was there something else you wanted to talk about?
На ваших руках жизни невинных людей. Вы правда думали, что я закрою на это глаза?
Yes, Inspector. I did. Leora Blossom and Maria Keene were on Ludovico's side. They chose to stand between me and my sister's killer. I had to cross them off.
Что произошло между вами и констеблем Кин?
Would you believe me if I said I gave the constable a chance? I spoke to her in her office. I told her everything. Belinda, Ludovico, the parasites, all of it. Maria said I was guilty of corporate sabotage and that she had a duty to report me. She told me how sorry she was, and I told her the same thing. And then I shot her. Maria was defending my sister's killer. If someone murdered one of your crew in cold blood, what would you do?
Я бы отомстил.
So you do understand. Was there anything else?
Берти был при себе этот датапад. Думаю, он ваш.
Yes, this is mine. I'd kept notes on everything I suspected, everything I'd discovered. It's all here, all in code. Belinda and I... we had a secret way of communicating. Words and phrases that had a special meaning to us. Numbers and dates that were only important to the two of us. Only 2 people in the universe knew that language.
Вот, возьмите датапад.
That's kind of you. Thank you.
Что произошло в день убийства?
You don't know how many times I relived this moment in my mind. I discovered what Ludovico was up to when I toured the orchards. I threatened to expose his plan. Ludovico decided to eliminate me. He programmed Burbage 3001 to fire on his command and disabled the security cameras in the ballroom. Only, he didn't know about Belinda. I'm sure he thought it was my skull he caved in with a bottle of Spectrum Brown. Burbage covered his blow with the plasma shot, and then Ludovico wiped his memory.
И тогда вы решили его выследить?
Something like that. I had a problem I had to sort out first. You were an unknown variable. I didn't know what to make of you. I went after Leora Blossom, and you were just 1 step behind me. I programmed an automech to steal some explosives from Cedric, but you weren't far behind. You were always hot on my heels, 1 step behind and catching up. I realized I'd have to throw in with you or eliminate you.
Вы бы проиграли.
I like your confidence. Take that with you when you hunt down Ludovico.
Я так и не понял, что там было с талисманом. За что она убила талисман? Она говорит, что он по заданию Людовика шпионил за нами 2. Но Людовика же не знал про вторую. А? А? А. О, осмотреть. О, прикольно. Это же мое. Тщательно осмотреть доску. Что-то смердительное рядание. Посмотреть на подозреваемых. Кто мог убить Елену Алкионскую? Какой был мотив? Ух ты ж, как прикольно. Я даже и не видел, что у меня такое есть. Да. Смысл-то в чем? Я сначала думал на администратора Людовика, но потом решил. Ведь это же он меня пригласил, и это я перед ним отчитываюсь за свое расследование. Значит, он точно вне подозрений. Вот. А второе, что я хочу сказать, что у меня была мысль, в том числе и про ход с близнецами, с двойниками, с похожими людьми, с близнецами. Но я подумал, что это так тупо и избито, что мне даже сразу отмел эту мысль. Оказался вот такой тупой, дешевый, избитый ход. Ладно, посмотрим, что будет дальше. Мне еще предстоит разобраться с Людовика, а на этом серию заканчиваю. Ведь я узнал практически всю историю, это главное. А на этом всем спасибо и всем пока.